this guy reads, man. This guy's smart, man. Tell the people about your reading, man. How important is reading to being a real dude?
My alma mater is books. You know what I'm saying? Like I was raised in and out of institutions such as Attica. You know what I'm saying?
Here we go. Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. But here we have another crazy story. Rod Diggs. Imagine that. Is that the truth? They say, you know what? Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. Who said that? Bullshit Bill? Bullshit Bill said, damn, it feels good to be a gangster. And Rod Diggs said, you know what? Yeah, it feels good to be a gangster.
Full name for the record. Rafael Gonzalez. Spell your name.
Okay.
Gonzalezrafael. You may inquire. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Gonzalez, if you could sit up and pull that microphone towards your mouth there a little bit. Mr. Gonzalez, are you in prison? Yes. Where are you?
So here we have an unbelievable story. Rod Diggs, notorious blood gang member from New York. He was so notorious. He was feared because he was a violent individual. Either way, he's in the feds right now. Not only he's in the feds, he's in a notorious ADX. They say that's where the worst of the worst goes. So it's fair to say Rod Diggs, he was one of the worst of the worst. Even though he was glorified on the streets, don't forget these individuals on the streets, they get glorified for being violent and committing crimes. They really do.
Prison.
Okay.
MDC. Where? MDC, MCC. What is the MCC? Is that state or federal prison? Federal prison. And have you been convicted of federal crimes? Yes. What federal crimes have you been convicted of?
See, here you're going to have an individual who was associated with Rod Diggs. He's a violent person just like Rod Diggs, accused of doing all type of crimes, heinous crimes. RIP to those individuals. Either way, he's in the feds right now. He's trying to be free. Don't forget, these individuals, once that jail cell locked, they want to be free. They do anything to be free. They mess around and tell on their own mother. Imagine that. Mama, I think you can handle this better than me, Mama. Mama, you should be able to handle this better than me. I'm just talking. That's it.
Drugs, sporting a firearm, conspiring after the fact, and also homicide, using a firearm on a victim. How much time in prison are you facing for those crimes? Say 20. Is that a minimum possible sentence of 20? Yeah. And how much is your maximum, if you know? Life. That's 20 years, correct? Yes, 20 years. And those crimes did...
When individuals hear those type of numbers, that's when they're willing to sell out Mama. Mama, you gotta go. So you know they're definitely gonna sell out Rod Diggs. This individual don't want to spend the rest of his life locked up. They're gonna call him Mr. Sardine. Imagine that. Imagine me called Mr. Sardine because you locked up in a can. You get it? Mr. Sardine, locked up in a can. That's not funny. I've never been a comedian. But it's serious though. Rod Diggs, he's really in ADX. And individuals really told on him. Criminals, all they know how to do, most criminals, all they know how to do is break the rules. They break the rules and commit crimes, and they break the street rules, and they tell on people. Imagine breaking the street rules and telling
Commit them with other people? Yes. Who did you commit them with, just generally? Jojo, Tai, M. Rod Diggs, Crystal. The gentleman you identified as Rod Diggs, who is that? Ronald Heron. Do you see him here in the courtroom today? Yes. If you could please identify him by identifying the piece of clothing that he's wearing. He got a blue shirt, some shades.
They said Rod Diggs, he called himself the big homie of the big homies, meaning he had no boss. He was the boss. He was a shot caller. Either his way or no way. Matter of fact, either his way or something bad might happen to you. That's why they had to put him in ADF. Don't forget, Rod Diggs, he wasn't a normal, regular blood member. He was notorious. He was as bad as it came, and he was intelligent. So being intelligent and notorious, it was a bad combination. It really was. That's what I heard, at least.
All right, let the record indicate that the witness has identified the defendant. Mr. Gonzalez, were you born in the United States? No. Where were you born? Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
At some point, did you move to the United States?
Puerto Rico.
Yes. Where did you move? To East New York. And at some point, did you come to the Guanas? Yes. And when was...
One thing about New York, in case you don't know about New York, there's a whole lot of Puerto Rican, there's a whole lot of Dominican, Spanish individuals who live in New York. They intertwine with, the regular African American individuals. But you know what? Let me not get into that. But one thing I do know for certain, they mess around and say, you know what? I know how to do crimes too. I know how to speak different language and do crime like you. Imagine that. I'm just talking, that's it.
Approximately when I was a young kid. How old were you? Like 10, 11 years old. Why did you go to the Guanas? Because my grandmother got evicted from the apartment she was living at in East New York.
Okay.
So we had to move downtown. Where did you go to high school? IS 23.
Okay.
Where is that? Downtown Brooklyn. Did you get into some trouble in high school? Yes.
Okay.
And why did you get into trouble? Because one of my friends was coming inside the school early in the morning. I was walking in with him, and some kid from the Guanas named Remo was coming down while we was entering the school.
The Guanas, that's a project in New York. The Guanas started off as a well-respected place. As generations went by, they started peeing in elevators, hanging in the hallways, writing graffitis on the wall, just basically destroying the whole Guanas, the projects. The projects went from being a beautiful place where it was supposed to be, and then it became to a crime place. Imagine it being a crime place. Okay.
And he pushed, and we got into some dispute after that. What did you do as a result of that dispute? I got in the way of it. I spoke to the individual. He told me to mind my business. After that, I went inside the school. Like around the afternoon, I seen him in the hallways, and he was talking a lot of junk. And he was like, yeah, I know you from the Guanas housing projects. And like after school, when I see you, like we're going to get into a fight, whatever.
Okay.
And how did that dispute impact you? Did you move away? Not right away. Like I came out of school, got into a couple.
So let's get back to it, though. You have an individual right here who's willing, ready, and able to tell him Rod Diggs. Not only is he willing, ready, telling Rod Diggs, he actually did it. Imagine that.
At 198 Bond Street. I hanged out for a couple of hours. I smoked a couple of joints. After that, I left. What happened next? Then the following day, I'm with my friend Rob again. We walking down the Guanas housing projects again. We go to 198, and while we're entering the building, Trini's entering the building, and he gets in the elevator. We get in the elevator. Trini said, what's up? He said, what's up to him? And while we're riding the elevator, we go in the stairs, and Trini go inside his pants pockets, like he getting something out his pants. And I told Ra, I'm like, yo, I'm trying to make some money. So Ra was like, listen, holler at him. So I said, all right. I spoke to Trini. I said, I want to make some money. Trini was like, all right, like stick around later on. Later on, I'm going to bring you something. So I stuck around the Gowanus housing projects for the meantime.
So you have an individual right here who's basically saying Rod Diggs, he wasn't just a rapper. He wasn't just a bully. He was a notorious drug dealer also. Imagine that. Mess around, Rod Diggs, he had 4 jobs. Rapper, drug dealer. What was the next one? Criminal. And 4. Let's get back to it. I'm just talking. That's
Later
it.
on.
I'm just talking.
Day Trini came and boom, brought me 5 bundles of crack.
Okay.
Just to be clear, Trini is the same guy that was with Nubs and Rod Diggs, the defendants? Yes. And Trini brought you drugs to sell? Yes. How many drugs did he bring for you to sell, or how much drugs did he bring you to sell? Brought me $500 worth of drugs? What do you mean by that? There's 10 bags in every pack.
Okay.
That makes it $100. So you got 10 bags of how many packs of bags? I didn't quite understand. It's 5 bundles. And you got 5 bundles of what? Crack. All right. And did you sell that crack?
Unbelievable story, but this is one of the reasons why Rod Diggs, he went down. He didn't just go down for no reason at all. He was told on by multiple individuals. Multiple individuals who try to save themselves. Imagine that. Mama, free me. Mama said, son, you gotta free yourself. Tell on somebody. Imagine that. Son, do you know anyone you could tell on? I'm just talking, that's it. Is that what happened? I don't know. But either way, Rod Diggs, he was told on. He got that ABS. He got 100 and 1,000 years plus another 422 years. Is that the truth? I don't know. But he definitely got at least 1,000 years. That's what I heard at least. But don't forget, these individuals, they mess up the numbers. Sometimes you only get 500 years and they say you get 1,000 years. I have no idea why they round off the numbers like that. I really don't.
Yes.
Okay.
Where is it that you sold that crack? In front of 198 Bond Street. And at the time when you were selling in 198 Bond Street, were there other people selling in that building? Yeah. Who were some of the other people selling in that building? Darnell and a few other individuals. It was Darnell and a couple more individuals that was with Darnell. Did there come a time after Trini gave you that drugs that you met Ronald Heron?
Where Trini at?
Yeah.
Where Trini
Tell the
at,
jury
bro?
how you met Ronald Heron. One day, I was selling in front of 198 Bond Street.
Okay.
And I was standing inside the building of 198. And Heron came inside the building like he was looking for somebody. And he seen me standing inside the lobby. And he was like, yo, you got my money? I was like, what money? Like, you never gave me no drugs. So he was like, the drugs and the money that you got, that's my money, my drugs. I'm like, you never gave me nothing. Trini worked for me. Like, I was like, yeah, but at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, Rod Diggs, if he had just gotten a regular job at McDonald's or Wendy's or even Burger King, he'd be in a better situation than he is right now. Imagine that. I mean, would he be? Would he be as feared? Imagine Rod Diggs was working at Burger King. Would people fear him? I don't know. Don't forget, a lot of these individuals, they live their lives based off other people's opinion. Is that the truth? I don't know. I'm gonna write Rod Diggs a letter and I'm asking if he'd rather be working at Burger King right now, or McDonald's or Wendy's, or he would rather be locked up at ADX. Imagine that. Imagine if he said, I'd rather be locked up here. I'd rather be here. I'd rather be here. Unbelievable.
You didn't give me nothing. The one that gave me it was Trini. So he got mad. So he was like, he called Trini.
Okay.
Trini came down to the Gowanus housing projects. Objection. I'm sorry. I'm going to be objecting to the call, Trini. Next question. What happened next?
Okay.
Trini come down to the Gowanus projects and he tells me, listen, the drugs and the money you got, that's Rod Diggs.